Hello, everyone. Agent of Doubt here, and I'm the world's worst SJW. I am the worst at it. But I felt like I can thoroughly respond to somebody who I thought was wrong on the internet. You ever find somebody to be wrong on the internet and you just can't go to sleep until you let them know that they're wrong on the internet? Okay, so tonight it was my good friend Kazoom, and we're joining him at 10 minutes into his 12-minute video called Disjointed Rant on Becoming Anti-Trump. And I'm just going to play this one selection for you and then respond.
Are upset, but we need to be clear about what we're upset about. We can't just keep saying, oh, Trump fascist, Trump the next Hitler, Trump is... Especially since a lot of the things that he's pushing doesn't even remotely fit fascism. He's certainly not having the government take control of a bunch of businesses or have to make them run those businesses very, very particular ways. He's loosening up on regulations. There's a whole bunch of things that just don't make any sense. It's like people calling the Argentine...
Okay, so for Kazoom, I'm going to give you guys a bunch of reasons why Trump is a fascist. But first, I do want to point out that it was that point that he tried to make, that Trump's not trying to force companies into doing things a particular way. Off the top of my head, having workers come back to work during COVID and declaring that they are, essential, like the Tyson chicken factory, that happened under his watch before Biden. But then now in this new iteration of Trump 2.0, right? For one, he's attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives on all universities and trying to tell them how to operate, right? Here I am trying to get my PhD so that I can teach this DEI stuff that he doesn't like. And so, end DEI.ed.gov. It's right there. It's the snitch form for bigots who have a problem with the fact that we're teaching that bigotry still exists in America. Look at it. Tell me that's not him trying to force his beliefs onto, businesses that, educate people. And let's see. There's the law firms that he has muscled into not only apologizing and removing DEI initiatives and firing people who have worked on cases against him. They now have to do pro bono work for his causes. Like they sign little contracts with him stipulating that they would do this stuff. He's all around muscling businesses. Okay. All sorts of businesses have had to give up DEI initiatives because he doesn't like the way that they operate. That being said, I'm going to do 10 reasons, 10, that Donald J. Trump as president does fit the criteria for fascism. Now, I'm basing my definition of fascism on something, right? And kind of infamously, the definition of fascism is so hard to define, it's like nailing jelly to the wall, right? That's what has been said about it. But I'm going with historian Robert Paxton's criteria, okay? So, him being the historian who tracked the the rise of the first use of the term in Mussolini regimes, and then it got applied to Hitler, and like it stuck. Like, yeah, okay, that guy who's been the historian of all this, I'm gonna go with his definitions of this. Okay, so firstly, Trump has a cult of nationalism and purity. Things like the slogan "Make America Great Again" echoes this mythic nostalgia for a pure and idealized past. Really that past didn't happen. He's shooting for like Leave It to Beaver style America that was only on TV. Also, in his rhetoric, he's described immigrants as rapists and criminals, and he had the whole Muslim ban, and he framed it as, protecting American values from foreign corruption, So, yeah, that's one. Two, he is using an authoritarian leadership style. He's frequently said, "I alone can fix it." Just Google that term, "I alone can fix it, Trump," and you'll find all the different times he said it. He has claimed he has the absolute right as president to do things like pardon himself or control DOJ investigations. And pretty much Trump loyalty to Trump has become a key Republican litmus test. And dissenters to Trumpism have been publicly attacked. Let's see, that's two. Three, he has a disdain for democracy and liberal institutions. He had the whole 2020 election denial campaign. He included pressure on state officials with this whole campaign in order to try to overturn results. That call that he made to the election officials in Georgia, like, "Hey, I need this many votes." Fuck. He repeatedly has called the press the enemy of the people. He has undermined the trust in courts, the FBI, public health institutions like the CDC. Nobody trusts them anymore. He undermined their credibility during COVID, and now he has defunded them and put gag orders on them so they can't speak to ongoing pandemics of things like bird flu that are, killing flocks of chickens here in America, creating part of the problem with the eggs. Who knows whether it's like just regular inflation or eggs or just corporate greed that doesn't get checked because, we'll get to that. That's another criteria. But, yeah, disdain for democracy and liberal institutions. That's the third one, right? Let's continue. Number 4, militarism and violence as political tools. He told those Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. He defended in Charlottesville the violent supporters by saying there were very fine people on both sides. He used force to clear protesters for a photo op. Fucking idiot. Okay. Yeah. That's 4. 5, scapegoating and dehumanization. He called the COVID-19 virus the China virus, right? China. And he fueled anti-Asian sentiment that got people their asses kicked in public. Okay. But then also he has framed immigrants as being this invasion. He has a lot of help from Fox News on this, but they're immigrant invaders, and he has depicted his political opponents as traitors to the country or vermin, which was a term that Hitler did use, but yeah, where are we? That was 5, right? 6. He suppresses dissent. Okay? He urged the Department of Justice to investigate political enemies like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. He retaliates against whistleblowers and all the former staff who criticized him. He tried to block publication of books and insider accounts, like with Bolton or his niece Mary Trump. 6, suppression of dissent. 7. I told you I'd get to this. Corporatism. The merger of state and corporate power, right? Forget that we could basically surgically sew Elon Musk's hand up Trump's ass right now and just be a puppet 24/7 puppet handler for him. But he has installed loyalists and donors in regulatory agencies. He said he was going to drain the swamp, and all of his cabinet members are fucking billionaires, right? This fucker, in 2016, when he was in the primaries for the Republican Party, he said, all you people up here, I've given donations to you, and then when I call you up, you do what I say. And that's why the government is broken, and I'm here to fix it. And then kept on saying, I'm going to drain the swamp, drain the swamp. Does the swamp look drained when Elon Musk is basically running the country with Trump as his hand puppet? Trump is bought and paid for. Then he's given large corporate bailouts with minimal worker protections, like especially with the airline industry during COVID. That was some fucked up shit. Then he pushed to reopen businesses during the pandemic, and I think that's where him and Elon first became friends, because Elon wanted his Tesla factories up and running. And he often did this against public health guidance. And right now, I really can't even give you good numbers on how destructive he has been as far as like public health problems, because he has gags on the CDC and NHS. Like, they cannot put out anything, because anything that they would put out would be telling people, hey, there's this problem. And he doesn't want problems. He wants people to just live with it like they used to back in the good old days when we were ignorant of health problems and we just got sick and then we were okay, right? We're here. Fuck. That was 7. That was 7. Now we're on number 8. Obsession with decline and restoration. All right? So he constantly frames America as being in decline and needing to be saved from the enemies within, right? And then he promises this return to greatness by restoring law and order and removing the bad hombres, right? Which is also just a little nod to his racism about the whole alien invasion from South America, right? Some of these things overlap. He has overlapping fascism, Kazoom. Overlapping fucking fascism criteria here. Where am I at? 9. I can count. 9. Sexism and traditionalism. He bragged about sexual assault. He's been convicted of it, but when he was bragging, grab him by the pussy, right? Well, moving on from that part, because there's so much there. He rolled back transgender rights and protections for LGBTQ plus individuals. Right now, in my practice, I have clients who are very afraid that even though their work is just adjacent to the government, they are going to be fired from their jobs, right? Kazoom, remember when we were friends with the barking atheist? Guess what? The barking atheist went on to be, well, now as a platoon sergeant, because she fought like hell to stay in the military, and there's like legal actions blocking Trump's path, but like she was almost kicked out of the army at the rank that it takes to become a platoon sergeant. Right? It's not very easy to get up to that level. And I know you know her on social. Go see what's happened to her. Right? Trump did that. Right? Trump thinks that being transgender means you're not fit for service. Right? How the fuck did she get that far then? Right? Passed a lot of tests, did a lot of soldiering, did a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups, holding the earth down with those fucking push-ups, Kazoom. Anyways, I mean, transgender people are finding it harder to get any of their care in many states across the country where Trumpism has taken root. It's a mess, right? Also, not for nothing, he supported Supreme Court justices likely to overturn Roe v. Wade, which later happened. And we still haven't had a very cohesive response to that in order to recodify those rights into law. And so now that we have Trump back as president, ain't gonna fucking happen. So, sexism and traditionalism, and with Elon Musk by his side, there's a tinge of eugenics going on where Musk wants to raise the birth rate of white Americans such that he is himself personally doing his best. But also, strangely, he's using IVF, which some people thought maybe, he had a botched surgery down there. But I actually think that probably he's using IVF to choose for he wants boys for kids. He's sexist in that respect too, and that's why he hates the one that was a boy and now is a young woman. So yeah, she's on TikTok. She's got great content. Anyways, there's a little bit of eugenics sprinkled into this, which also happened to have something to do with, having roots in some other ideologies that we've seen over the past, 100 years or so. Anyways, we're on like number 10, right? I can end this with number 10. Propaganda and mass mobilization. He has had massive rallies with chants like "lock her up" and "build the wall," all these little tiny phrases that fit in the little tiny brains, right? He's used Fox News, Truth Social, Parler, formerly Twitter, now X, all of these to create alternative information ecosystems. Say that 10 times really fast. Anyway, he's also promoted a lot of conspiracy theories like QAnon-adjacent content and giving little nods to them, and election fraud myths. So I think that does it. and other people who would know a lot about fascism because they were also historians and politicians, like Madeleine Albright or Jason Stanley or Timothy Snyder. They've all warned that his leadership style is kind of proto-fascist and has a lot of authoritarian tendencies. And yeah, in short, Donald J. Trump fits all of the criteria for fascism. Now, so do other things, and I know that there's probably going to be some whataboutism as a response in my comments section or by Kazoom even. And I will give you that other things also fit those criteria, but Donald Trump fits all of the criteria of fascism pretty freaking well. And I feel confident in saying Trump is a fascist. Do with that what you will.